Welcome to the Study IQ English podcast community. Are you ready to improve your English listening and writing skills? In today's episode, we're going to dive into some real-life stories and examples that will help you practice both listening and writing. You'll learn new phrases, vocabulary, and also hear how real people use English in everyday situations. Before we begin, make sure you press the like button if you're excited to improve your English with us. Now, let me ask you a few questions. Do you ever find yourself stuck when you want to describe something in English? Or maybe you're not sure how to talk about things that happen in your daily life? Well, you're in the right place. Today, in this episode, we will practice some common English expressions used when talking about simple everyday situations. Let me tell you a little story about a day in my life last week. I went to a local market to buy some fruits. The market was busy with people chatting and shopping. I remember talking to a friendly vendor, and she said, "Would you like to try some fresh apples? They're the best in town." It was a simple conversation, but it gave me the opportunity to practice phrases like, "Would you like to?" and "They're the best in town." These are simple, useful phrases you can use in your daily English conversations. So how about you? Have you ever gone to a market to buy something? I'll send our LH all says to rocker send our settle. Maybe you asked about the price or what was fresh today. These are things that happen in real life, and practicing these situations will help you feel more confident when speaking English. Let's move on to another situation. Imagine you're at home with your husband or wife. You want to talk about making dinner. You might say, "What should we cook tonight?" Or, "I think we should try something new." These are simple sentences that you can use in your daily conversations at home. Using English in familiar settings like this will make it easier to remember new words and phrases. Now, let's talk about a story from my own life. I once traveled to a small town with my wife. We visited a beautiful park and met some friendly locals. One of them told us, "You should take a walk by the lake. It's the best view at sunset." Again, this is a simple conversation, but it teaches us how to suggest things, how to give advice, and how to describe experiences. The more you hear these types of real-life situations, the easier it will be to use these phrases yourself. Think about your daily life. What do you talk about with your husband or wife? Maybe you discuss what to do for the weekend or plan a trip. These are the kinds of things you should practice in English. They are relatable and useful in real-life situations. So for practice today, try to think of a situation in your own life where you can use these simple phrases, something as simple as asking for help with cooking or discussing a new place you want to visit. The more you practice with these real-life situations, the better you'll become at listening and speaking English. Let's continue with another example. Imagine you're at work and you're talking to a colleague about a project. You might say, "How is the progress on the report? I think we should finish this task by the end of the week." These are simple phrases you can use when you're at work or even when you're talking to your boss. By practicing these phrases, you'll feel more comfortable expressing yourself in a professional environment. Now, let me share a story from my own work life. A few months ago, I had to finish an important report for my job. I remember asking my colleague, "Can you help me with this part of the report?" We worked together, and after finishing, I said, "Great teamwork. We did it." Simple phrases, but they help us communicate clearly and efficiently. Think about your own work. Tell them communicate with your colleagues or boss. Maybe you have to ask for help or explain something. These are everyday situations that happen to all of us, and practicing these will help you improve your English in the workplace. Another example could be when you are talking with a friend about your weekend plans. For instance, you could say, "Do you want to go hiking this weekend? Let's meet up at the cafe at 7 p.m. These are simple, common conversations that you have with friends when making plans. Being able to have these conversations in English is very useful, especially when you're making arrangements or asking someone to join you for an activity. Now think about a time when you made plans with a friend or a family member. How did you invite them? Did you say something like, "Let's go for a walk in the park tomorrow"? These are phrases that everyone uses, and they are great for practicing English in casual settings. In my life, I had a similar situation. I invited a friend to join me for a walk in the park last weekend. I said, "Do you want to come with me? It's such a nice day outside." It's a simple sentence, but it's perfect for everyday situations. When you practice speaking in this way, it helps you feel more confident in English. As we move forward, let's talk about something we all do: shopping. Whether you are shopping for groceries or looking for clothes, we all need to ask questions and talk to store employees. For example, you could say, "How much is this?" or "Can I try this on?" These are questions that everyone uses when shopping, and by practicing them, you can make your shopping experience easier and more comfortable. A few weeks ago, I was at a store buying some new clothes. I asked the cashier, "Do you have this in a larger size?" And she replied, "Yes, we do. Let me get that for you." It's a simple exchange, but it's a very common one. By practicing these types of conversations, we'll be able to navigate shopping situations confidently in English. Think about your own shopping experiences. Have you had to ask for help at a store? Maybe you've asked about the price of something or tried to find a specific size. These are great opportunities to practice your English and improve your listening skills by hearing how people communicate in real-life situations. Let's switch gears and talk about family. Imagine you're sitting at the dinner table with your family discussing your day. You might say, "How was your day today?" or "What did you do at work?" These questions help you engage in conversation with your loved ones. It's important to practice asking and answering questions like these as they help you connect with others and improve your conversational skills. I remember one evening at dinner when I asked my wife, "How was your meeting today?" She replied, "It went well, but I have a lot of work to catch up on." Simple everyday conversation, but it's an excellent way to practice English in a relaxed environment. Asking about someone's day or sharing what you've been doing is a great way to practice speaking English with those around you. These types of conversations are easy to incorporate into your daily life, whether you're at home with family, at work with colleagues, or out shopping. You can use these simple questions and phrases to practice your listening and speaking skills. Now, let's imagine another situation. You are planning a trip with your husband or wife, and you need to talk about where you want to go. You might say, "Do you want to visit the beach or the mountains?" or "Which hotel should we book?" These are common questions when making travel plans, and they are great for practicing your English. Whether it's for a short weekend getaway or a longer vacation, these are the types of conversations that will help you improve your speaking skills. I remember planning a trip with my wife last year. We were deciding whether to visit the mountains or the beach. I asked, "What do you think? Should we go to the mountains this time?" She replied, "I love the mountains, but the beach would be nice too." It was a simple conversation, but it helped us plan our trip and gave me a chance to practice using English in a real-life situation. As you can see, every situation, whether it's at home, at work, shopping, or planning a trip, offers a chance to practice your English. The more you use English in everyday life, the easier it becomes to speak confidently and naturally. Now, let's take a moment to think about your own daily routine. What conversations do you have every day? Are there any common situations where you could practice English? Maybe you talk to your family about dinner plans, ask a colleague about a project, or make arrangements with a friend. These are all great opportunities to practice speaking and listening in English. In today's episode, we've covered a lot of different situations where you can use simple everyday English, whether it's at work, at home, shopping, or planning a trip. These types of conversations will help you improve your speaking and listening skills. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become when using English in your daily life. Don't forget, We upload new videos every day here on the English Pod community to help you improve your English. So keep practicing, and you'll see great progress in your speaking and listening skills. Let's keep going. I'm excited to help you improve your English by using real-life examples. In this episode, we're focusing on everyday conversations that will make you feel more confident when speaking English. So, let's take a deeper dive into more situations you may find yourself in, and I'll walk you through how you can handle them using simple, easy to understand English. Let's start with something we all do. Talking about food. Food is something we talk about all the time, whether it's during a meal with your husband or wife or when you are chatting with a friend. Imagine you're at home and you are planning to cook dinner. You might ask your spouse, "What do you want for dinner tonight?" Or, "How about we make spaghetti?" These are simple questions, but they help you use English in a natural way. You don't have to worry about complicated words or grammar when you're having these conversations. You just need to ask in a way that makes sense to you. Let me share a story from my own life. A few weeks ago, I was at home with my wife, and we were discussing what to have for dinner. I asked her, "What do you feel like eating tonight?" And she replied, "How about pizza?" It's easy and quick. We were just making a simple decision, but it felt natural because we were using everyday English. You can use these same phrases with your own family or spouse to practice your English when discussing food. Now, let's think about what happens when you have guests over at your house. Maybe you are hosting a dinner or just inviting someone over for a chat. What would you say when they arrive? You might greet them with, "Welcome. How was your day? Can I get you something to drink?" These are polite, friendly phrases that you can use when you're welcoming someone into your home. Even though they're simple, these kinds of phrases go a long way in making someone feel comfortable, and they're also easy to remember. I remember when I had a couple of friends over last month. I greeted them by saying, "Hey, how's it going? Can I get you anything to drink?" It was a casual way to start the conversation, and we quickly fell into a relaxed chat. It's important to practice these kinds of greetings because they help you sound friendly and natural in everyday situations. When you start with a simple greeting, it leads to a smooth conversation, whether you are meeting a friend or welcoming guests into your home. Let's switch to another situation where English is used a lot. Talking about plans. We all make plans every day, whether it's deciding where to go for a walk or planning a holiday. These are the types of things you talk about regularly. For example, you might ask your husband, "What time should we leave for the trip?" Or, "Should we bring lunch with us?" These are easy, practical questions you can use to discuss plans. You don't have to use complicated English when you're planning something. Just keep it simple and clear. A good example from my life is when my wife and I planned a weekend trip to the mountains. I asked her, "What time should we leave tomorrow morning?" She replied, "Let's aim for 8 a.m. so we can get there early." It was a simple conversation, but it was very useful. By practicing these types of questions and responses, you'll feel more comfortable making plans in English. Another great topic to talk about is your daily routine. We all have routines that we follow every day, whether it's going to work, taking care of the house, or spending time with family. If you want to practice speaking about your routine in English, you could start with something like, "What time do you wake up?" Or, "How do you usually get to work?" These questions help you talk about your day in a relaxed and easy way. Let me tell you about my own daily routine. Every morning, I wake up early to get ready for the day. I usually say to my wife, "I need to get up at 6 a.m. so I can prepare for work." Then we talk about what to have for breakfast, like, "Do you want eggs or cereal?" These are simple everyday questions and phrases that you can use when talking about your routine. The more you practice using them, the easier it will be to express yourself in English every day. One important aspect of everyday English is how we ask for help. We all need help from time to time, whether it's with cooking, organizing, or even asking for directions. If you're at home and need help with something, you could say, can you help me with this? Or, could you pass me the salt, please? These are basic phrases, but they are very useful when you need to ask for help. You can use them with anyone in your family or at work. For instance, last weekend, I was helping my wife organize the kitchen. I asked her, can you hand me the dishes, please? It was a simple request, but it was important because we were both working together. Asking for help is a normal part of life, and knowing how to say it in English will make you feel more confident when you need assistance. Another situation we often talk about is how to describe something. This could be anything from explaining the weather to talking about a book you've read or a place you visited. Describing things in English is a great way to practice. For example, you might say, it's really hot outside today, or, the book was so interesting. These simple descriptions help you build your vocabulary and express yourself clearly. I remember telling my wife about a book I was reading. I said, this book is so good. The story is exciting, and the characters are so interesting. Describing things is an important skill in English because it helps you communicate effectively, whether you are talking about the weather, a trip, or a book. Describing things in a clear and simple way will make it easier for people to understand you. Let's also talk about asking questions in English. We ask questions every day, whether it's to get information or just to make conversation. For example, you might ask, what time is it? Or, where's the nearest cafe? These are basic, helpful questions that everyone uses. Asking questions is a great way to keep a conversation going and learn more about the world around you. I had a situation last week when I was out walking with my wife. We were looking for a cafe to have some coffee, so I asked a local, do you know where the nearest cafe is? He answered, it's just around the corner, next to the bookstore. Asking questions like this is essential for practicing English, and it's something you can easily use in real-life situations. Finally, let's talk about what happens when you're giving advice. We all give advice, whether it's to a friend, a family member, or even a colleague. Giving advice in English doesn't need to be difficult. You can say things like, you should try this new restaurant, or, I think you should take a break. These are easy ways to share your thoughts and help others. I remember a time when my friend was feeling stressed at work, and I told him, you should take a walk to clear your mind. It was simple advice, but it helped him feel better. Giving advice is something that happens in everyday conversations, and by practicing it in English, you'll be able to share your thoughts more easily with others. In all these examples, we've covered a wide range of everyday situations where you can use simple, accessible English, whether you are talking about food, making plans, asking for help, or giving advice. These are all practical situations that happen in real life. The more you practice these types of conversations, the easier it will be to use English in your daily life. Let's dive even deeper into how you can improve your English by using real-life examples and situations. In this episode, we're continuing to explore simple conversations and everyday interactions that can help you feel more confident when speaking English. I'll share stories and phrases from my own life to give you practical examples of how you can use English in your daily routine. By listening to these examples, you'll not only improve your listening skills but also your ability to write and speak more naturally. Now, let's talk about something we all do: shopping. We shop for groceries, clothes, or even small household items. Whenever you go shopping, you're likely to ask questions like, how much is this? Or, where can I find the milk? These are simple questions, but they're very useful in real-life situations. You don't need to worry about using big words or complicated grammar. Just ask what you need in a simple and clear way. I remember going shopping for groceries last weekend. I walked into the store and needed to buy some milk. I asked the store assistant, excuse me, where can I find the milk? She pointed me to the dairy section, and I continued shopping. This simple question helped me get what I needed quickly, and it's the kind of question you can use anytime you're in a store, whether you are shopping for food, clothes, or anything else. Asking clear, straightforward questions will help you get what you need without any confusion. Shopping isn't just about buying things, it's also about interacting with people. Sometimes you might need to ask for help when you can't find something or when you're looking for a specific item. For example, you might say, "Can you help me find the eggs?" Or, "Do you have any bread left?" These are polite and simple phrases that you can use when you need assistance in a store. The key is to keep the language clear